So let me give you a little history lesson. A long, long, long time ago. Now, this happened within the United States. I don't know about your country, but let me tell you what happened here. So when people started to come to the United States from the United Kingdom, England, and all that, they had to provide a means of taking care of their families. So they started building these buildings. From the buildings, they were going to live in the buildings, of course. But then from these buildings, they had to find ways to produce an income. So some of them became farmers and they traded this for that. They herdsmen and cattle. They were all basically entrepreneurs. Now, because the country's growing, things are developing, and they're trying to move faster and carry more product because it's a growing economy. They're trying to figure out how to get from New York all the way over to California. Well, to do that, they needed to create a railroad system. So what they did was they bought up the land where the railroads would travel. And then, because they wanted it nice and free and open. So they went to the farmers and they convinced them, sometimes coerced them, sometimes tricked them, but whatever it was, they were successful at it. And they got the farmers to get rid of their land and they sold it to the government or to these big companies that were working for the government and building the railroad. Well, the farmers were like, wow, that's more money than I've ever seen. Some of these people were making $5 a month. So if somebody said, look, I'll give you $700 for your land, that was all the money in the world. That's enough money to last over 10 years. They were like, wow, they can make this work. But what happens was that was how much they were making for them living on their land, $5. But now they had to find another place to live. They had to become tenants, which tenants pay more than people that own their property, or they had to stay at hotels or motels. They had to do things like this, and they had expenses with food because they don't have a kitchen. That became expensive. Guess what? The money ran out. Then what happens? Now, those farmers who were former entrepreneurs, they then become employees. They've got to go out and find jobs for other people. So then you see them in the saloons and they're selling beer or they're doing other things. They're playing games. They're gambling. They're working for somebody other than themselves. That is the history. So when we talk about money is for spending, and that's point number 4, we talk about this history lesson. The thing is, you don't want to be an employee because it really does affect your relationship. You don't want to have that mindset. See, in a relationship, what makes the money work is if everybody has equal power over the money. The woman, the man, your partner should have just as much equality to the money as you do. Now, granted, if you pick somebody that's not reasonable, your money gone. So that's why you got to make some good choices. You don't run into these relationships. You make good choices if you're going to allow everybody to have equal power. If equal power is not possible, then you don't want to be the type of person that's a little stingy. Get what you want. Get this. You want a pair of shoes? They cost $100. They cost $200. You like them? What's wrong with that? Would you do that for yourself? That's the way you have to look at it. Remember, jobs only pay you what the job is worth. In your relationship, you are worth, and so is your partner. They are worth so much more.